Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rahakadosh, double honors to the elders and the prophets, chiefly of Great Millstone. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father. He is the Most High. His name means He is. Yahweh Shai is the name of His Son, often mistakenly called Jesus Christ. Yahweh Shai means He is who saves, or He is who redeems. Rahakadosh is the name of the Holy Spirit in Hebrew. I saw there's carrying on from my last one. 31, let's start from there. Hold on. 29, let's start from 30 actually. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. And the reason why from verse 29 is because of the pride of her young men, the pride of her armies, and the pride of her industries. Behold, I am against thee, 31, O thou most proud, and it said, the pride, the wicked are often seen as proud. Again, the Bible is trying to give us name for a people and a place in kind of a code. If you want to work out who the proud are, the wicked are the proud, and you need to work out who the wicked are. The Bible leaves clues, but it never said it. Saith the Lord God of hosts, for thy days come, the time that I will visit thee, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Esau shall be for stubble, I think, remembering. And it shall devour round about him. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. So who was taken fast? Who was held fast? Who was held captive? Do you know what I mean? And if it's not physical slavery, if it's not mental slavery, if it's not spiritual slavery, okay, let's break it down. Physical slavery, you're held by chains. Mental slavery, you're held by bad influences. Spiritual slavery, you're held by spiritual oaths in what you might call Greek sororities or fraternities. If it's not any, or getting into some weird kind of practices where the Lord don't want nothing to do with you. But we've been held fast in all these different forms of slavery. They refuse to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong, the Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. And sometimes plead is meant to show judgment, pleading, basically proving and just saying, look, this is the judgment and it's righteous. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, said the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon. I believe the Chaldeans were the Edomites. And upon their princes and upon their wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and the horses, as I learned recently, means any way of any of their power, anything that they're not just like anything that's powered, their military might, their industrial might, because back in the day, the horses powered all of these sort of things, right? They powered the mill, they powered the industry, they powered the army. So horsepower, a sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots and upon all the mingled people. And for a sword to be upon them means to be, they're attacked, basically. And upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women, and this is again paralleled in another chapter in Jeremiah, I think, when it says that the women, why all men have their hands upon their loins, as a woman giving birth. And when it says that they shall be as women, like, Yeah, meaning meaning not sort of um, not brave. A sword is upon her treasure, or maybe not as strong. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. A drought is upon her water. So basically, what you should see is then this is the scriptures giving you a clue as to who who Babylon is, who this proud one is, who are these Chaldeans in the modern day. Because in these days you're going to see that all the lies in the day that happened, where this is happening, and at the time that this is happening, you'll see that all their lives are having their lies revealed. Where is this happening? All the sort of industry and military is being destroyed. Where is this happening? All their economy is being destroyed. Where is this happening? A sword is upon their treasures. All their treasures are being devalued. Where is this happening? A drought is upon their waters. You know, they shall be dried up, for it is a land of the graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and shall be no more, and it shall be no more inhabited forever. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't really like saying God, I'm going to say Yahweh. As Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. So we're talking about a place that is going to be utterly destroyed. As such, that there's not going to be no people there. There's going to be just creatures that feed on carrion, creatures that feed on dead. The owl. Sometimes they talk about the eagle. They sometimes talk about the owl. Sometimes they talk about the. They never talk about the vulture, but a lot of the time I think these things are kind of mistranslated. Sometimes sometimes it's vulture that they're talking about. Something that's going to be just eating dead meat. There's these what's it, despicable birds or something. Oh, I can't remember what the word is. Behold, the people shall come from the north, a great nation, and many kings shall be raised from the coast of the earth. So where's the north? The north is in Russia. They're rolling deep. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea. And like Russia, like they done told you, man. Everybody knows, don't poke the bear. Everybody knows. Do not poke the bear. And as Scott Ritter said, the bear is slow to wake up and to get going. Once he gets going, you ain't gonna stop. You ain't gonna stop the bear, man. He's been provoked. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and they will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea. They shall ride down upon horses, obviously with military might. Every one put in array, like a man to battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands wax feeble. Joe Biden. Excuse me, but I'm talking about, at the Battle of Armageddon, and at the helm is Joe Biden. And we know he's not really at the helm, but it's just, it just shows you how accurate the scriptures can be. The king of Babylon heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs of a woman, and pangs as of a woman in travail. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of the Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is the chosen man that I may appoint over her? Who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is the shepherd that shall stand before me? And these are all rhetorical questions. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cries heard among the nations. Nations. We know that the earth is going to rock to and fro. We're going to know that as surely as lightning comes from the east and goes to the west, that when the Son of Man returns, it ain't going to be with these scriptures are backed up by other precepts. And I'm going to do 51 now. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land for in the day of trouble. So once Babylon comes, when all these problems come, there's going to be people inside or out around Babylon who would like looking to exacerbate her troubles. They shall fan her and shall empty her land. Because you know what happens when you fan a fire, right? It gets hotter. For in the day of the trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifteth himself up as a brigandine. And I think a brigandine is a person who is a kind of a military person. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. So boy, listen man, if you're in the military, particularly in the American military, and you are, it's oxymoronic to also, consider yourself a man of the Lord. Let's put it that way. Because the prophecies are basically saying that they're gonna that the Lord will destroy. He's planning to destroy you. To get your asses out there. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel has not been forsaken. So it's like you're doing all this, and you think that God has forgotten his people. But they're gonna come and screw you up. You see how this is? How can I explain this, man? How can those people, the 1948ers, how can they claim to have this heritage when it's Babylon themselves that are supporting them? But here in the scriptures it's saying we're going to destroy Babylon because you've forsaken you've forsaken my chosen people. But in fact, Babylon, if the 48ers were the chosen people, they haven't been forsaken. They've been helped. Military aid, financial aid, donations, vetoes in the security councils. For Israel, verse 5, for Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, or of the Lord of hosts, through the land which filled with sin against which was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. America is the land where all of this culture is coming from. Now I'm in the UK. Do you know what I mean? In the UK ain't much better, but it's like the epicenter of culture, of popular belief, of Western civilization. And I use the term civilization lightly. That is all coming from America. For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, or of the Lord of hosts. And it's been Judah that's been oppressed. So you should be looking. If you're trying to find out who the people are, you should be looking for the people that are oppressed inside of the land of Babylon. You should be looking, as in Jeremiah 50, you should be looking for the people, because the Bible ain't going to tell you directly, because it's for the people that know, or for the people that even want to know. You should be looking for the people that were oppressed, the people that are held captive, who are the lowest of society, the nation, I should say. giving you the clues. For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, or of the Lord of hosts. Though the land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in their iniquity. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean run out the city. I mean, spiritually, you don't need to subscribe. You don't need to subscribe to the ABC, DEFG agenda. You don't need to subscribe to the to anything that is, you don't need to subscribe to the sort of batting for both teams or switching sides or whatever. You don't need to subscribe to any madness that's coming out of Babylon. Anything that's not in the scriptures. There's only two things, man. There's only two things. Wickedness and righteousness. Wickedness is when you don't follow the scriptures. Righteousness is when you do. There's only two outcomes for wickedness and righteousness. Good and evil. Good is when something is benefits you, and evil is when it doesn't. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. For Israel had not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, or of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render her a recompense. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that has made all the earth drunken. A golden cup in the Lord's hand. So you have to understand that the Lord's been controlling Babylon. Babylon ain't done nothing without the Lord's approval. And he's allowed everybody to drink from this cup. He's held up the cup. If it hadn't been for the Lord's sanction of America, let's put it straight, America will never have risen to where it is today. And the Lord has held up this cup and allowed all the iniquity, all the filth and invite and allowed anybody who wanted to drink from this cup to drink from this cup, such that he'll know who the people he want to rock with and who the people he want to destroy. 7, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that has made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine. See the picture. The Lord's holding up a golden cup. Golden cup. It's gold. It's enticing. It's pretty. It seems to be something that will give you riches. And it's down to you if you want to drink that wine. Therefore all the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. And let us go everyone his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even unto the skies. The Lord has brought forth out our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord of our God. Of the Lord our God. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. So make bright means to sharpen. I bet if I looked up etymology of bright, it'd say sharp. No, that's long. I'll go back to it. Make bright the arrows, gather the shield. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes. That's the Persians. That's the Iranians. And they are pissed. Persians being pissed, boy. They're being pissed. Because what did they do? They attacked, the 48s attacked their consulate, or the thing that's, I think it's the consulate, where the diplomats are, their embassy. And then they fired back to let them know and just say, look, we're not gonna trouble you. We're not gonna do nothing to you, but this is the power we have. And they sent a bunch of drones, but they gave them warning so they could get all their people out. and then let's just say the helicopter fell out of the sky. So it's like how are you gonna feel if you told somebody, you warned somebody that you were going that you were more powerful than them, but you showed mercy, and then you may suspect they're doing some backhand sneaky stuff to try and still needle at you. But the Medes are pissed. The Lord had brought forth out of righteousness. Come, let us declare. No, hold on. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it's the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standards upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters. So I think the waters of the people, abundant in treasures, thine end is come. So you're dwelling upon many waters. You know that they got, I think someone was saying, I think it was Tahar, Elder Apostle Tahar, that was saying, each time you've got a base in the country, that's an occupation. So when you're dwelling upon many waters, that means you're in many lands, or in country, an occupation of many people. Abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, We're told not to swear upon it. Yahushua told us, instructed us, commanded us not to swear upon anything on heaven, on earth. And the Lord is, that's because we're not capable of keeping that. You know what I mean? We ain't that, we can't see the end from the beginning. You know, the Lord knows us better than we know ourselves, so we don't swear. But the Lord has sworn by himself. They know way that can't happen. He's sworn by himself. He said, when we say, Americans say, on my mama or whatever, that's on my gran or whatever. He ain't really meant to do any of that. But he's sworn in his own name, the most holy name. Ooh. He's sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up and shout against thee. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and he hath stretched out the heaven by his understanding. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the vapours to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh the lightnings with the rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Of course. The Job said, behold, I am vile. I ain't nothing. I ain't doo-doo, man. Every founder is confounded by his graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the works of errors. In the time of their vegetation they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and my weapons of war. For with thee will I break into pieces the nations that will destroy, and with thee I will destroy kingdoms. And this is going back into, I can't remember, I think is it Ezra's? Or Daniel, when I think it's Daniel, when you talk about how the Roman Empire used to break things into pieces, and the breaking into pieces was setting up, as I understand it, was setting up different districts and different provinces and that they had rule over. Then now it's saying that Israel shall break into pieces the nations. They shall set up dominions over all the nations. And with thee will I break into the pieces his horse and his rider. And with thee will I break into pieces the chariot and his rider. And with thee will I break into pieces the man and woman. And with thee will I break into pieces the old and young. And with thee will I break into pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break into pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break into pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break into pieces the captains and rulers. So I don't think it's about literally breaking people into pieces, but setting dominion over everything. Ain't no one gonna be able to get married. Ain't no one gonna be able to farm chickens or have sheep and do. You ain't gonna. Israel gonna be controlling everything. And I will render unto Babylon and to all its inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil they have done in the Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountains, saith the Lord, which destroyeth all the earth, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and will roll thee down from the rocks, and I will make himself from the rocks again, who dwelleth in the mountains, man. Do you know what I mean? And I will make thee a burnt mountain, and thee, and the burnt mountain, the mountains represent governments, that's like cool. So burnt mountains bust the government, and they shall not take of these a stone for a corner, nor stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord. So there ain't gonna be no one coming to this government or the governments of the world or for anything. Set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her all the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, Ashchenaz, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as rough caterpillars. As the rough caterpillars, I'm not sure what that means. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers and all the lands of the dominion, and the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end. All right, so so the messengers from the east is running to the king of Babylon, and the messenger from the west is running to the king of Babylon to say they've been taken. They're going to bump into each other on the way. I'm assuming. I'm not entirely sure of that, but and the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are frightened. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It's time to thresh her, yet a little while. And the threshing was what you do to get the wheat, you bash the wheat to get the seeds out, and then you bash the straw to get the wheat out. Let's say that, and the Lord is doing a harvest because He's trying to get His people out, the wheat from the tares. He's trying to separate all the rubbish from what He wants to keep. It's time to thresh her yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Nebuchadrezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. He hath made me an empty vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicates. He hath cast me out. The violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. Therefore saith the Lord, behold, I will plead thy cause and take vengeance for thee. So he just swallowed, he crushed. Man, if you see the state of black people today, I say black people lightly, right? If you see the state of black people today, wow, they are crushed. In and out. Their minds are crushed, their bodies are crushed. in bad physical shape, bad mental state, bad spiritual state. And this is from violence. The violence done to me and my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will please their cause and take vengeance for thee. And I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry, and Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, and astonishment, and as hissing without an inhabitant. They shall roar together like lions. They shall yell as lions whelps. In their heat I will make their feasts, and I will make them drunken, and that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake, saith the Lord. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with he goats. How is Sheshet taken, and how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How is Babylon become an astonishment among nations? The sea has come up upon Babylon. She is covered with a multitude of waves thereof. You know, it's a little bit like, in my mind, I'm just thinking about Moses parting the Red Sea. You know, it's like that. You know, for the freedom of the Israelites, the sea is now raised up just again. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, a wilderness, a land wherein no man dwelleth, neither doth any son of man pass thereby. And I will punish Bel in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he has swallowed up, and the nation shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. You know, you don't need to leave the country. You just need not to subscribe to anything, in particular the MOTB, the CHIP, you know, unless your heart faint and ye fear for the rumour that shall be heard in the land. A rumour shall come 1 year, and after in another year shall come a rumour and violence in the land. And this is ruler against ruler, you know. So there will be wars and rumours of wars, right? And after that, in another year shall come a rumour and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded. And all these people burning sage, all these people into crystals, all these people, you know, into Buddhism, you know, like all these people practicing all this kind of stuff that isn't scriptural. Then that's the Lord watching you, man. Then heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoilers shall come from her from the north, said the Lord. That's where they're coming from. And as Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall. So at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. So at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. As Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. So all them people are going to get destroyed in Babylon. Ye have escaped the sword. Go away. Stand not still. Remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come to your mind. We are confounded because we've heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces, for strangers are come into the sanctuaries of our Lord's house. Wherefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will do judgment upon their graven images, and through all her land the wounded shall groan. Through Babylon, though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she shall fortify the height of her strength, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith the Lord. So people are going to start taking. People are going to start taking. And then, this is the funny thing. I don't know what's happening and why, but there's a whole bunch of people, the immigration gone crazy in Babylon. Been gone crazy in that part of the world. Though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, yet from me shall spoils come unto her, saith the Lord. A sound of a cry cometh from Babylon, and the great destruction of the land of the Chaldeans, because the Lord has spoiled Babylon and destroyed out of her the great voice. and her waves do roar like great waters, the noise of their voices uttered, because the spoil is come upon her, even upon Babylon, and their mighty men are taken, and every one of their bows is broken. For the Lord God of recompenses shall surely requite, and I will make drunk her princes and her wise men, her captains and her rulers, and Biden, man, he's drunk, he's as dopey as a dope fiend. And yeah, if you talk about how Lord's going to make drunk her princes and her wise men and her captains and her rulers and her mighty men, they're looking stupid right now. You got a lot of seen some of those military guys in skirts and stuff, because they identify as women, and that's not a good look, I think, personally, for a military guy or for someone in the military. I'll make drunk her princes and her wise men, and her captains and her rulers and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake, said the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gates. So what I mean by the military guys that I just don't see other people. A lot of people will not take them seriously. I say the Lord of hosts, look, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and their high gates shall be burned with fire, and the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. The words which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Seraiah, the son of Neriah, the son of Maaseiah, when he went to Zedekiah, the king of Judah, unto Babylon in the 4th year of his reign, and Seraiah was a quiet prince. So Jeremiah wrote in the book all the evil that shall come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Seraiah, when thou comest to Babylon and shalt see and shalt read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that no one shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates, and thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink. And that's again from Revelation, right? He getting a great millstone and saying, thus with violence shall Babylon be thrown down, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. And I think I've gone on for a long time, but yeah, it's just crazy how these people, Jeremiah, John the Revelator, both saw the same thing, that the Babylon will be destroyed in an instant, and to sink into the bottom of the water, never to return, like a stone, or in this sense, the scriptures that were written by Jeremiah. It's deep, man. The Bible get correct every time if you got your eyes open. So keep them peeled. Shalom.